Ops The Line, man. Every once in a while, there is a game that you will play that burns itself into your head and you cannot get it out. Spec Ops The Line is basically third-person Call of Duty mixed with Apocalypse Now, and man, some of the shit you will see in this game and you will do in this game will never leave your mind. Spec Ops The Line came out in 2012, and a time and period where every game wanted to be Call of Duty, wanted to rip off Call of Duty. Spec Ops The Line said, you know what? We're going to integrate a little bit of Call of Duty gameplay in our third-person gameplay, but story-wise, we're going to frickin' show people what war is really like. And goddamn, they live up to it in every way. So Spec Ops The Line was a game that I was very aware of when it came out in 2012, but it was never one that I really got around to actually playing. I picked it up a couple months ago for cheap. It was like $10 because it's a shooter, and I really wanted to see what the buzz was all about 6 years ago. And man, they don't kid around. This game is unlike any other shooter you will ever play. I relate the game a little bit to another game that came out. It was a year later, BioShock Infinite. There are two games that had amazing stories, but gameplay that didn't quite live up to what I was looking for. Spec Ops The Line, it's a third-person shooter, and it feels at times like a poor man's Gears of War in terms of its gameplay. It's basically, like I said, if it was a third-person Call of Duty game, that's basically beginning and end of it. It's a third-person shooter, military shooter. That's it. The tactics that can be used are very limited, and if you give a command to one of your allies to try and go after and focus an enemy, there's a 99% chance they're going to eat shit in the next 2 seconds. The AI in this game, the opposing AI that is, does not mess around. If you make one mistake, you are dying. You will die in about 4 or 5 shots in this game, and you are going to die often. In Spec Ops The Line, it definitely tweaks its story, I think, a little bit to really, really push home what it's trying to tell you about war and whatnot. Spec Ops The Line's loading screens will begin to screw with you. What will go from tips and tricks and how to play the game gradually morphs into you are still a good person, or how many Americans have you killed today. It's some fucked up stuff that will really screw with you. And that's what this game does. It depicts the horrors of war and basically the descent into insanity that these soldiers are going through in the city of Dubai. Like I said, it's basically Apocalypse Now, morphed with a third-person shooter, with a touch of Call of Duty gameplay added in. And this game does not hold back on the horrors of war. From dropping white phosphorus onto enemy soldiers and the infamous dropping it on civilians, to shooting a hanged man when you're given basically a lose-lose situation by the villain, or so you think. This game screws with you, and it screws with your head, and the ending of this game can only be summed up as an absolute mindfuck. I mean, it has to be played to be really fully experienced. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the story of this game is worth a buy alone. Any price. I only paid about $10 for this game when I got it a month or two ago. You owe it to yourself to play this game at least once for its story alone. Graphically speaking, it's a late era 360 game, but I think it still holds up actually rather well. The graphics actually are not bad. Yeah, your models are going to look a little bit dated. Environments do look a bit dated, but I'm actually surprised at how well it still looks. I think the lighting was very well done. And Unreal Engine 3, man, it's not a bad engine, so even in 2012, it still holds up pretty well. But if there's one thing that absolutely shocked me, Nolan North voices the main character of Walker in this game, and I am not sugarcoating it. This is the performance of this man's career. This is the best he has ever been. I always thought Nolan North and Troy Baker were infamously overrated. I mean, these guys are in everything, and they seem to be beloved by so many people, but I've never really liked either of them. But Nolan North turns in a fantastic performance in this game, and I definitely think it's the highlight of his career. You can tell he is all in on what is being done and what his character is going through. So Spec Ops: The Line, you have to play this game once. I can't be too psyched or fucked yeah about this game because of the shit I've seen in it and the shit you'll see in it. But damn, if you like shooters, you gotta give it a go. You gotta play this game at least once. I can't recommend it enough. Thanks for watching.